Welcome to the American Rambler with your host, Paul Grafton. Okay, today we have this article coming from Parenting Magazine called Are Trad Wives Really Happier? It talks about the media coverage of social media and mega influencer Hannah Neelam of Ballerina Farm has brought trad wife movement into the spotlight and raised the question of whether women like Hannah are as happy as they portray themselves on social media. Could this life really be a blissful escape from the modern grind? Or is it all a facade? Are these really happy in the traditional marriages? Or have they been manipulated into a thankless life of unpaid labor? No, it is not unpaid labor. Because if she were single and to work in the workforce, who is going to pay for her apartment? If she lives with her dad is paying for her apartment. If she lives with herself, she is paying for her apartment. Okay. What about the food? Where does the money from the food come from? Okay. Uh, it comes from her husband. Where does the money for the car insurance, the gas come from? Her husband. This is not unpaid labor. This is barter. And as a friend of mine, an accountant, says when he records bartering on his books, he has to record it as a private currency. So this is not unpaid labor. Surprisingly enough, research provides an explanation as to how trad wives might actually be happy with this seemingly unfair arrangement. Yeah, I do have to agree with this. But not unfair on the wife's part, but unfair on the husband's part. Because at any time, she can quit and stop doing any of this stuff, but he still has to provide. Even if she leaves the household, he still has to provide. Entering into the marriage contract actually makes a slave out of the husband. Okay, just look at our divorce laws. Okay, and also, Bill Burr, how hard really is it? Do you want to trade going on oil deck, climbing poles, changing tires, all of this stuff? You know, how many wives have died picking up toys off of the floor? The trad wife movement is based on the belief that men and women should assume traditional gender roles, with women caring for the house and children, and with men providing financially and managing most decisions for the family. Well, yeah, that's probably because men usually make smarter, less emotionally based decisions. Although Hannah Nealman of Ballerina Farm does not self identify as a trad wife, much less promote this lifestyle, many influencers on social media do identify with this label and are insistent that this is a way of life is superior. Yes, because she has somebody that does all the heavy lifting for her, both emotionally, mentally, and physically. One such influencer is Jasmine Dennis on her Instagram. Jasmine makes statements such as, I'm teaching my daughter that it's perfectly acceptable to depend on a man, that being a homemaker is the number one career she should strive for. I used to be really into politics, but now I just relax while my husband tells me what to think. Yeah, believe me, I met so many women that just don't want to engage. Research and experience have consistently shown that these traditional values and practices contribute to relationship stability and long lasting marriages. No duh. Another trad wife, S.D. Williams, promotes dropping out of college and only leaving the house with your husband's permission. That kind of feels a little funny to me, but I do agree with strong, successful male. You know, stay away from a group of women, or as they're called, a gaggle of women, uh, because they tend to try and break up the families, and you don't need that. Like Jasmine and Esty, many trad wives on social media claim that being a traditional wife is the ideal arrangement for a happy marriage and family. Of course, the trad wife is problematic for many reasons. Okay, most notably, traditional gender roles are only an option for wealthy families that include a man and woman married to each other, which means most families in the world are excluded right off the bat. No, see, if you would stop with the designer bags and the name brand clothings and the Martha's Vineyard vacations, you could have wonderful vacations. You could still get the nice bags and nice furniture and stuff. You just need to be careful, manage your money more wisely. Yeah, it's hard not to wonder whether trad wife is the easier and simpler way as you watch them blissfully making bread from scratch or homeschooling their children with a smile on their face. Clearly, these trad wives are onto something, but are they really as happy as they claim? Do trad wives have happier marriages? Many trad wives claim that women serving as a homemaker and men serving as breadwinners is how marriage is meant to be. They often cite the lower divorce rates with traditional gender roles were more common. Of course, there are many problems with this argument, namely that when traditional gender roles were more common, there's more of a religious and cultural stigma around divorce, and often women did even had the legal or financial means to divorce this time in history. In addition, these types of marriages are not really even traditional. These types of traditional marriages only emerged as the start of the Industrial Revolution and most only in wealthier white European and American families. Yeah, listening to the honey badgers about this issue, yeah, the fact is that some women actually did work, but they didn't work outside of the home. You know, you remember the Tupperware parties, the Avon, the Mary Beth, they invited a group of women. The allowances that were given to their husband, they used for personal or other things, or maybe they clipped coupons to save money. First, the most recent research does not find any evidence that a traditional wife protects you from divorce. Uh, yeah, because look at what happened to Crowder. You know, he was as blue pilled as they become. You know, and some of the conservative women influencers have shown that uh, they were still using uh, that they were still sided with feminists when it came to divorces. Although the trad wife movement may be getting a lot of attention, uh, the ideals for marriage for most people are clearly shifting. Yes, for most men, it is a big no no because As it was explained to me by a friend of mine, it says if if you have a company and eventually that company becomes successful and you need to hire help, you hire that help, and then like a couple years later, that employee either quits or you have to fire them. But by law, you still have to pay them. What kind of economic advantage is that for men? Now, saying it's an equal division of labor for household tasks, no. It's saying 30-70 split. Yeah, I'll agree with that. It's 30% of the household tasks are done by the women and 70% are done by the men because women only consider household tasks to be those that are performed within the household. But how did that house get there? The man saved up enough money to put down a down payment and make mortgage payments on that house, or he went there every weekend and every night after work to work on his house the way my brother-in-law did. When men discredit women's contribution, that she does less housework than she actually does. Yeah, that's very true. The couple shows even lower relationship satisfaction. You know, unequal division of household labor is also related to an increased risk for depression and stress in women. Well, then you should do more. Then the woman should do more, not the man. Okay? So does how parents choose to split childcare and duties impact the relationship? Well, this is a long article, so I'm going to stop here and continue the article tomorrow.